don't know how much you know about, it's been a while since you and I've been around each other, when we were working on my album. But since then, I started a business and been kind of learning on the fly. And I was thinking about, I need to have conversations with people that have been doing business longer than me to get a better understanding and get advice, because I don't want to fall into some of the mistakes other people might have. So it's like I always feel like there's a gap of information to get to success, because I have the drive and I have the talent and the skill set. There's information that's missing. So I was like, I want to start calling people. I want to talk to Josh. I want to talk to Anthony. I want to talk to a couple people that I see doing their thing. And I was like, you know what? I might as well record it. It's like, it might be useful to somebody else. And if nothing else, it's a great memory for me to have, as success gets bigger and bigger. It's like, let's, I'm a real nostalgic guy. I like going back and seeing where things were. And I'm like, you know what? This might be useful for other people. Because in 2022, there's so much entrepreneur this and entrepreneur that. And with the remote work, I'm like, it's time for a lot of people to really start chasing their passion. So I'm glad I get to talk to you and you take the time to, talk a little bit about business and growth and what you got going on. I see you're involved now in, doing you're doing scores for movies and stuff like it, just like TV or whatever. Like, what do you have going on?
Yeah. In regards to the movie stuff, the music, when COVID hit, I had to transition a lot of things. I lost a few things that were part of my income, and so I had a very basic setup here at home. I had one computer and two speakers and a Yamaha keyboard. So that was basically just to make, music on Logic. And I didn't even have Pro Tools. I had crack versions of Logic, and everything was on crack in my computer. So it's a 2009 iMac. So, 2020, the system doesn't go any higher. Which it wasn't good for me. It wasn't good for me for a very long time because I was just working on crack versions already, so I couldn't update anything. And so when COVID hit, I was at a place actually in 2019. I was in a place where I had to make an important decision for myself, and that is to get away as much as possible from the Latin music. Because to my experience, the Latin industry is very selfish. I mean, just like every other industry out there, but I speak for myself. The Latin industry is very selfish, and I can tell you right now that in my phone book, I have direct numbers with people that can easily just give me an opportunity.
Right.
So I made a decision. I even had a project of taking hit songs from the 90s and making remixes of them using their acapellas. And I had a group of guys that were with me. And we did this in 2018. And in 2019, I told them, I said, guys, we did 6 of these. I'm going to stop because I need to focus on other things in the music. And this is before COVID. So, and that year, I began doing piano covers of Disney songs, taking their acapellas out and playing piano. So I would get the sheet music and then I would play along with the acapella of that Disney song. And that led to some, my kids they're into Disney music, and the scores in these movies are incredible. Come to find out that little before COVID, I started looking at these composers. And I'm a late bloomer, man. You can't talk to me about 80s music. I can't tell you. I would only say, give me the sheet music and I'll check it out. I can't tell you names. But I'm looking at these composers and I'm looking at names as like Hans Zimmer, the man that did Batman and all these, just forget it, all these movies that are out from before and even today. And so I look at another composer. And I'm like, wow, the way these guys play is something that touches me. Like, I actually do play like this, but it's orchestrated. You feel me? So it's like there's symphonies, there's percussion. I'm a percussion guy. You look behind me, I have somewhere around there, I have percussion. I have a candle on there, but it's percussion. I'm a percussion guy. I'm a Latin guy. And I'm like, wow, so much in common. What the heck am I doing right now? And aside from that, I do have my piano program that's been running since 2008.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's my foundation income right there. My students, my piano course that I sell.
Right.
So I made the decision going into film scoring, and this is all independent. So, I'm not part of an academy or university. This is all independent.
Right.
Okay, so I started, ripping a commercial from one of Ford cars, a Mustang. I don't know about cars either, bro. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
I put music on it and I uploaded it onto YouTube,
Okay.
and I felt really good about that. And so I continued on. I started joining different scoring events from music libraries, that the libraries where they sell sounds and stuff like that, instruments, sample instruments.
Virtually, or
And
you were going out to the different places?
no, it's all from home, joining
Okay.
the
Good.
composing from home.
Yeah. Good.
And this is with the simple setup that I had at the current moment. I'm sorry, not the current moment. At that time, I had
Right.
the two speakers and just one keyboard and the crack version of Logic. So I was able to do that. And our friend Josh, he started telling me that the samples, they suck.
Mm.
He was like, "Hey, these sounds, that those strings sound like poop,
Right.
basically."
Yeah. Yeah.
And not me playing, but the sound. And then he
Mm-hmm.
told me about East West. So
Mm.
the East West is a Hollywood sound virtual instrument library that they sample these violins, trumpets, percussion, great stuff, bro.
Okay.
In Hollywood, like in the stage out there in LA. So I subscribed to that, which I was happy that they had subscriptions, because those things cost like $300 $400 to get
Yeah.
those things. And
Right.
so so that led into joining these events, and then networking, which is always something that you have to do. I got myself into like film director pages, um, and I offered myself to anyone that was open to work with me. And
Okay.
so I had this one filmmaker that was graduating from Hollywood Film School, I think it's called. And he sent me his 10-minute documentary,
Okay.
and I scored it. And then, you know, the guy was really serious. He made edits. He was sending me back and forth, and we were just working together, and I felt really good about that. So that led, to more networking, and then joining more events. And just like anything, you just got to continue pursuing those things. And then one thing led to the other. I upgraded my studio, which is an important factor. So I don't know if I'm able to show you, because this is part of it. So
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
to be part of to be productive, I don't know where this is going right there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I invested in these Moogs right here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where I can make noise and build sounds.
Right.
So having that, moving a little bit forward, I got small gigs doing sound design. I never did sound design in my life.
Right.
So turning on these babies over here, 4 channels, putting them in my interface, four tracks on at the same time. I was able to create sounds and patch some cables up and create some crazy stuff, like mixing a choir sound with some oscillator where it would go
Yeah.
ooh, the
Yeah.
cutoffs and everything. And then these, they would see that, and I'm like, well, okay, that's unique. So these, I made presets
Right.
for like some music supervisors, and that's in one of the jobs that I'm doing right now, is sound designing. So that's basically something behind the scenes. It's not like a lead composer or anything like that.
Right. Right.
So
No, you
yeah.
know what's crazy? Like, I think the one of the biggest things you said that's really important is that you started with very little. Like, and that's the thing I
Right.
try to push people all the time. It's like, because it's real easy to see everybody's highlight. It's real easy to see, we'll use our friend Josh as an example. It's easy to go look at that, like, his great setup that he has now, and
Yeah.
be like, I can't do XYZ because I don't have that. People don't typically realize that even Josh, you, me, we started with very, very little. It's always like very similar stories. Like, I had a very old computer, I
Yeah.
had crack plugins for this, I had this for that. I was doing the
Yep.
best I could with what I had. Like, we all have that same story, and it's like, I wish people understood that now, that with the whole like generation and the share and the views and stuff like that. It's like they get so focused on that, and,
Mm,
and they don't even want to focus on the fact that you're gonna have to just grind with what you have now. And I'm real big on, like, don't make excuses, don't point at the next guy and say I don't have what I
right.
want because I don't have what he has. Everybody, most people start at zero unless you're Donald Trump and your daddy got a million to give you. But
I wish Donald Trump was my dad, bro. Dag, man.
no, but it's and you know what's funny? You can do that for your kids, and that's what pushes me more than everything. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah.
I want to prove to the kids that you can work a 9 to 5 if you want, you can go to college if you want,
Right.
and then there's also a path that traditionally has felt closed off to, especially us in the Hispanic community. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of us have felt like business ownership is not possible. That's for a certain group of people, and that's not even for us. Maybe you
Right.
could be manager one day if you go in early and leave late and work your hardest. You might be supervisor,
Right.
but and that's fine, right? Like, there's people with different paths. So I don't ever
Yeah.
criticize any
Yeah.
path. But I want to show the kids that all of this is available, including working for yourself. And you
Right.
have that opportunity now, and you're doing it. And it's great
Right.
that you're doing it with stuff you love. Because as long as I've known you, we know each other
Yeah.
through Josh and stuff. But you've always been in music, and it's
Right.
great. When did we worked on that? My album
Now.
was, man.
Now. I did. Josh told me. Um. I did something that he gave me a reference track. Nails on the cross. I think it is three
Yeah,
nails
yeah,
or nails.
three nails, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So.
And I feel like that was like, it was more than 10 years ago. It
Right.
was more than 10 years ago. And
Yeah.
and you're still on that path, and it's great. I took kind of a different path, but still, I'm actually just now getting back into the music. I took a very long break to focus on family, and I got distracted from the music, but I got
Yeah.
10 songs done right now. And I want to roll that out like in the next month or two to put out an album. And now I'm doing full-time video production.
That's
Um,
dope. That's
which
great.
is kind of like parallel to the music, because
Oh no.
I
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
yeah, I started doing video production because I wanted to have my own music video. So I started learning that skill set, and I'm like, now
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
back into the music. I know enough about video, and now everything's gonna tie back together.
Right. But you really never left the entertainment. So I mean,
Hmm.
let's call it entertainment. Forget music or forget video
Hmm.
production. You never left the entertainment.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
I I never left. Like, I used to have a music project. Um, Back in 2006, I tried to do a church ministry type of thing, and the churches here are so horrific. I would not
Hmm.
recommend someone to start a music ministry in the state of New Jersey. But
Hmm.
that's just my opinion. So I stressed it out as much as I can. I dropped it after 2009. Um, we released a 2009 album, Latin Jazz, for to bring some instrumental music into the church. I dropped that slowly, though. It wasn't like cold turkey.
Hmm.
Because I left it. That doesn't mean that I stopped doing that. I went on to something else. But I'm still in the entertainment. So it's the same thing with you. You're still in the entertainment. But
Right.
before you go forward, what you said about the kids is very important. Um, I've gotten so much feedback with the decision that I made of separating myself from the Latin industry. You just won't even know. I haven't even had a chance to sit down. Josh is like a big brother to me. I haven't even had time to sit down with him, because there's so many updates that have happened.
Hmm.
I got a publishing deal with a publisher, and this is part of the music for TV. So
Okay.
it's not only about making or striving to make music for movies. There's other avenues within the film scoring thing. The business,
Right.
music placements, sync placements. So I personally, and investing is also part of it.
Hmm.
So my kids have seen the transitions, and from career day in my daughter's school, I did music for them. From having one computer with two speakers to having all these probably unnecessary monitors, but these computers with I never had a universal audio hardware in my
Mm-hmm.
life. I have the Apollo Twin. I have the studio gear.
Right.
And I've noticed the difference in sound. And I call Josh. I'm like, yo, is this supposed to give you like a different sound? So I'm like, this is dope, man. Um, and going from like stereo to 2.1, I have a sub here. Like I never had that. But these are things that allow me to provide and show clients like, hey, we could do sound design, we could do this, and my kids see that, and they really inspire me. And it all started with watching Disney movies with them because there's like hitting things in you, like you never
Mm-hmm.
know until like something triggers. And these kids with all these Disney movies, I'm like, wow, man, it just brings me back. The Lion King making me cry, man, and all these things, and I'm like, wow, I could do that, you
Yeah.
know. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I
Have
mean,
you seen have
me
you
and
seen
you,
you seen Encanto?
yeah,
Because the music there is crazy.
bro.
And then and
I'm
Vivo.
going.
Vivo got great music too.
Encanto is hitting it, bro, because obviously because it's Disney. Vivo, is a great movie as well. It really expresses Cuban tradition. It's an awesome movie. But since Disney's on top,
Mm-hmm.
you hear Encanto in freaking bathrooms in restaurants now,
Mm, yeah.
which is crazy. I'm like, this is a movie soundtrack. What? So now
Yeah.
it's like Billboard charts and everything. Everybody that was involved in that movie, if they don't maximize from that, just retire, man. You
Yeah.
got to maximize from that opportunity. It's an awesome opportunity to be able to see your song, like the movie, blowing up past the film industry and going into the mainstream radio, and crazy, bro.
It's funny. One of my and you kind of inspire me to kind of pursue it because you're doing the movie side. But one of my
Yeah,
dreams has always been to have some type of me being involved on the music side of video games. Like I want to hear something that I had a part in
yeah,
on the music side of video. Like that to me would be exciting because I'm like from that generation of the games and stuff, and I'm like I want to be able to play a game and like the music swells up and it's something that I helped write or something I helped write lyrics to or something.
yeah, yeah. Music. I know for a fact because again, when I transitioned from one side to this, it's been such a blow, a bomb.
Mm-hmm.
I've made more colleagues, more friends in this side of music than I've ever in the Latin side in all my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The conversations I'll be having with mixers from London, mastering engineers, orchestrators, conductors, bro. It's a blessing, bro. So asking so many questions and game and writing for game is pretty crazy, from what I hear. It's not a straightforward composition because you have to write like maybe a lot because of the players. Let's
Mm-hmm.
say if the
Mm-hmm.
player sucks and they're always dying,
Yeah, yeah.
you're gonna get a lot of dying music.
No,
So
that's a good
it's pretty
point
awesome.
because yeah, no, and it's I imagine the programming behind that should be interesting
Yeah,
too because people have to be able to, like you said, as the game gets more difficult and the boss's health comes down or whatever, that music
yeah,
swells with it and it drives and that emotion. At least when they do it right, you
yeah.
can hear it.
But for you, if you're interested in doing that, do like me. Go on Google, search. They present it as competition. It's okay. You could still use the content for your resume, for your portfolio. So
Uh-huh.
these events allow you to use that content to promote yourself. You can join gaming. Scoring to games,
Mm.
and you can join those things. Some of them charge like $20. Some of them do it for free,
Mm-hmm.
but they give you the option of scoring for a picture or scoring for a game. I never did the game part. I should one day, but right now I'm just focusing on the film stuff. But you can join those things and you can use that content and you can join other ones. And then by the time you know it, you do two or three. You can put that as a playlist on YouTube, separated
Yeah.
from your other stuff as game scores from Revi or what's your artist name now?
Mm-hmm.
Ka-
It's still Revy, but I put
okay,
down Kamikaze Revy. Like the full thing is like Kamikaze comes from willing to die, and then Revy being the belief of Christianity. So
okay.
it's kind of like a
I thought it came
metaphor on
from
that.
Dragon Ball Z.
Nah, nah. But
No.
I like Dragon Ball Z, but nah,
Okay,
it
okay,
didn't come from
okay.
that. No, no, no. Nah. But it's interesting. It'd be dope if you got into the video game stuff because I don't know how much you're familiar with that world, but there's some that's very cinematic. Like there's a lot of games just like you
Yeah,
playing a movie, like it, and it'd
yeah,
be great.
some games. Yeah, I read that some games are straightforward, but some you gotta sound like 10 different versions. And
Yeah, but they got like full blown orchestra, like live music. There's some games that like they take the music very serious. Like the
yeah,
soundtracks are amazing. Um, but yeah, no. So what's as you're building into the whole movie scoring and stuff like that, you're doing that all from home. You don't have any other, that now you have the blessing of doing this 100% yourself. Like you don't have to go into another job or nothing like that. Is this all you do?
well, I do different things in the music. So this is
Okay.
all I do. So film score is just a tiny little part in God's eyes. This is my world. So obviously I'm the God here, right? But film scoring is like something very tiny. But I have
Okay.
other pieces that work for me.
But
So
you get to
for
work for yourself full time. Like you don't have to
yeah,
work for anybody else.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
dope.
it's always been a challenge. It's like any business, man, up and down. Um, but I was saying when COVID hit, I lost my church gigs.
Okay.
I haven't worked in a church for over a year.
Mm-hmm.
I had a music program with childcare centers where I would go and do music for kids.
Hmm.
I lost that,
Uh.
so it was pretty a time of fear. So
Yeah.
what one of the things I started to do is look at the tiny things that were working for me behind the scenes that I never paid attention to, and it's music streaming,
Okay.
the music that I've already have out.
Right.
So as an artist, I always make sure I'm releasing music. So the film scoring thing is just one part. Um, and of course, when the momentum hits, I put attention to whatever's giving me momentum at that present moment. But I try to water my plants in my gardens. I try to like keep everything balanced. Not only with being in this room, but also with my family. But going to the streaming real quick. I used to get paid from streaming every 4 months.
Okay.
It's not thousands of dollars, but it's money that comes in.
Right.
So I've been able to share my links and present it to the platforms of different ways, paying within YouTube platform to push my stuff, paying within Facebook platform to push my stuff because Facebook is connected with Instagram, so you win two birds with one
Mm-hmm.
stone. So I will
Mm-hmm.
promote within those. I don't use third party marketings because I just it's difficult to trust people nowadays.
Right.
But I pay within the networks, different networks. So whatever streams I get, I've been able to the same amount that I would get every 4 months. Now I'm getting it every month.
Okay.
But
That's
that's the
great.
hustle. That's the hustle and the time that I'm putting in that I wasn't putting in because I was always outside playing. I was outside physically playing the piano somewhere.
Right.
So everything is computers and everything is, sharing content and doing different things. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things. Of course, the piano program is my big hit. Since
Okay.
2008. So that's my main bread and butter. I've taught and mentored over hundreds of students since 2008,
Mm.
and that's
And
another
you
one. That's
and you're
another
doing that,
one.
of
Very
course, virtually, right? Like how's that work?
there you go. That's another situation
Yeah. Oh, so
because
did
because
you took a hit on that with COVID too?
because of the change and the transition, slowly but surely, people obviously couldn't have visitors in their home.
Yeah.
My thing became successful because of me catering to the customer.
Mm-hmm.
What do people want and what do they need? They want to go home. They want to take a shower, relax. The kids do homework. If I'm teaching a kid, I'm coming to their home. I'm teaching them. They don't have to come to me. A side note, my wife would be like, "Oh, you should open up a." So like, heck no, I'm not gonna open up. You think I'm gonna be responsible to pay 3 G's over here? I
Yeah.
can't afford to
Yeah.
do that. I'm going to their home and I'm gonna continue doing it. So when COVID hit, I thought ahead a little bit. I kind of thought ahead,
Okay.
and I started to present the second option to my students. Hey, let's try online. Let's do online. I'll do whatever video platform you want to do. I'm not gonna force people to download a software because I don't like doing that.
Okay.
This what you have going on. It's the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I could just click one link and we're good to go.
Yeah, you can do
It's
it
a
from your phone too.
it's a great platform. Congratulations on that. So
Yeah.
that's the same thing I do with my students. What do you already have on your phone? Oh, I have FaceTime. Boom, we're gonna do FaceTime. What do you have? Spanish people? WhatsApp.
Yeah.
WhatsApp. You know what I'm saying? People that already working from home, Zoom. Okay, we got the Zoom. And let me tell
Right.
you, to this point, I still haven't paid a monthly fee for Zoom. I don't use Zoom a lot because
Mm-hmm.
I'm catering to what is more convenient for my people because I need them. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not gonna go and all right, guys, we're gonna use this platform. It's gonna be convenient, and it's not convenient. So
Yeah.
that's before anything falls apart. I gotta make sure that my students are good, man. You know
Right.
what I mean? Because they're my foundation in regards to money, income.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's important that kind of identifying what's going to be the easiest thing for like the customer.
Yeah.
They talk about it in business. They talk about friction points. You got to avoid friction points, especially in the modern age. You don't want people having to click 40 different links to
Mm,
get to whatever they need to get to. I tell
right.
people all the time, you got to put yourself in the position as a consumer yourself, and whatever business you're in, think about it. Like, how do you buy things? How do you find information? If you're a guy that's always on Facebook and that's where you get the news, then that's where
Right.
you need to be for your business. Like, only dive into things that you yourself use and you believe in.
Right.
And with streaming and stuff like that, yeah, you ask them what's more comfortable for you. It's perfect to say, you can't force people into doing things a certain way. They're gonna go back to the way they're doing it anyway. And if they feel that friction doing work with you, they'll just go with somebody else anyway.
Yeah.
It's we're all seen like commodities, right? Like, it's just like whoever's the cheapest or whoever's the easiest to
Mm,
deal with, that's what I'm gonna go with.
yeah.
Um, and it's tough as a creative because as a creative, we have a mindset of the way we want things to be because we love what we do and we're very proud and attached to what we do. We want it to be a certain way. It's like
Yeah.
our resume is on the line every single time. But when you turn it into a business, there's a part that you have to accept that, you are a creative, yes, but you're providing a service. And if the customer says, I want this to sound a different way, and even if you disagree, sometimes you gotta just kind of like take that for this project, make it the way they want, and just understand that you can work on that with another customer the way you want, or
Yeah.
there's passion projects that you can do for yourself. When it's
Yeah.
your music, you can do it however you want. But when you're producing for somebody else, you're gonna have to just take the disagreement. And you know what? They're paying the bill. That's not the way it should sound, but that's what they want. And I see that in the video side as well. It's like, I know the way it should look, but if a customer has an idea that they're stuck, that's what I want, then I'm gonna do it. And the best thing
Right.
is to keep a smile on your face. Don't have too much conflict about it because that's the last thing you want too. Is like, I don't like working with him because what they're gonna say, you're arrogant. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just being receptive to it. And that's kind of like, I've been good with that for the longest, but in business it's kind of been at the forefront. Like, for
Right.
me to manage, like, be careful with how you speak, your body language and stuff like that. Don't ever make them feel like
Right.
feedback was offensive or nothing like that. Like, or you can disagree, but politely is really important in business.
Yeah. I. That's good. The good stuff that you're saying there, man. To self-educate is very important. I
Hmm.
have this book that I would. I mean, I'm sure you probably heard of it already. It's on my studio. It's on my acoustic stuff because I use books to help with sound too.
Hmm.
Just you know, don't let Josh hear that.
Nah, mass. You need mass on the walls. That's what you need. It's not always Orlex.
This is the book that this is a few years ago.
What
Uh,
is it? How to talk to anyone?
yeah. It's
Okay,
a
I never seen that book.
yeah, it's a pretty good book. It's like it tells you, don't do this. Always try to speak like this. Well, hold on.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because
Why?
this is like I don't know, like you're about to get smacked.
Ah.
So
Okay.
hand gestures, what to use. It's a pretty cool book, man, for everyone. It's become a master, a communicator, and this is not a plug. I'm not promoting anything, but you're my boy, so I'm trying to keep this as genuine as possible.
Ah,
It's
yeah.
for anybody. Get it on Amazon. How to speak. There's other titles as well.
How to talk to anyone. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So but yeah, you were talking about the client stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and that could go 10 different directions. Why do I say that? People want to pay less. because
Yeah.
they would really like to work with maybe Tyler Perry's video editor, right? Let's say, for example,
Mm-hmm.
let's just say that. I don't know who he is, but then they see you, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like saying Hans Zimmer, but they want me. I'm cheaper, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, I have this idea, but you know how Tyler Perry has it, and you know how Hans Zimmer does it, and that's the first thing that I put my foot down. I said, whoa, hold up. If you want to work with me, it's because you like what you heard from me. I am not a guinea pig. I'm not gonna try to imitate what this guy did. First of all, Hans Zimmer books on orchestra. Let's just be clear, bro. Second of all, Tyler Perry's video editor, on your case, I'm sure that they book or they have a huge space with a staff in the back that's taking care of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we both work at what we do with equipment and gear that helps us to get, you know, um, to a certain level.
Yeah.
It's never gonna be. I'm gonna use another example, but it's never gonna be that way. I tell people, because you're calling me because you like what I'm doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them, if you're looking for something that, just because you can't afford it, I can't do the work for you, because I'm only gonna give you maybe 1 to 2 revisions. I'm not gonna go crazy. You
Right.
feel me? Because then there's no money in the world that's gonna take care. That's Are you gonna pay per session?
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people that I charge over here in my house, in my home at my home. I decide if I'm gonna charge you as a composer or I'm gonna charge you as a studio engineer. I
Okay.
could charge you minimum 3 hours, or I could charge you one flat fee to make the song. Whatever it is, it's actually more expensive to book me as a composer, because if I put everything that I'm doing in one package, it's gonna be more than minimum 3 hours. And
Right.
it really depends who I'm working with. But 2, 3 revisions, that's gonna cost you more. So there's a difference when somebody also tells you, hey, there's a movie from Tyler Perry, the video stuff. Use this as a reference. It doesn't have to be exactly. Or Hans Zimmer stuff. Hey, the Batman stuff. And I would be like, yo, that's awesome, because I have some presets from the Batman movie I could
Mm.
use for your stuff. Yeah, let's do it. That's cool. You feel me?
Right.
But to tell me, hey, do it like this guy, like, no, because you don't have the money to pay that person. Don't come over here, because listen, bro, I'm 39 years old, and the revisions are 1 to 2.
You know what I find on the video side, and maybe on the music side, you might have found it as well, is the perception I have is that sometimes customers and people looking at what I do, I think they see it as he's having fun, and they disconnect that this is still a service and a business, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, nah, do me a quick edit there, right? That should take a few minutes. It's like, I always tell people the time is the time. I position myself as, it's not even so much, don't even look at the skill set. Don't even worry about what I'm doing specifically. It's my time. I say my time is worth this.
Right.
Regardless if I'm shooting a video, if I'm writing a rap, it doesn't matter. This is what my time is worth. Um and that's it. It's not that I'm having
Yep.
fun. You know what? I'm fortunate enough to where I found a way to make a living doing what is fun to me. Um, but for some reason, I think sometimes there's that perception of like, nah, do a quick revision, do a quick edit to this. You know, yeah, and you know what I started doing, Anthony? I even started putting in there in my quotes, even exporting time, rendering time.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like this is actual time.
For
Sometimes,
you guys,
like,
for you guys, it's longer.
yeah, no, in the video world, depending on the project, it could be 30 minutes, an hour. Um, that stuff I started building for. It's like this is my time. It's not that, oh, you're not doing nothing. I am doing something. It's without that necessary time there, you don't even have a video to begin with.
Yeah.
So it's learning to manage it. It's learning to I'm even building in the price. I used to do what we call pre-production for free. I used to have all the conversations about the logistics and all the stuff. And then I realized, wait a minute, I spent 5, 6, 7, sometimes 10 hours that I didn't bill for at all, that was necessary to create the product. So I
Mm-hmm.
started learning to teach people, you know what, there's going to be X amount of pre-production costs. There's going to be production costs. I started breaking out audio separately. There's a lot of things I broke out separately because technology has made the gap, the accessibility to do high quality stuff, it's shrunk that gap. But on the other side of things, where it used to take 4 or 5 people, you used to have an audio guy, then a video guy, then a focus puller guy, on the camera. You used to have all these
Right,
things.
right, right.
One person can do it. That doesn't mean that you should only be charging for one service. And that's something I learned also. It's like, even though I'm doing the audio and the video, I'm going to charge for those things separately because I'm
Right.
doing two different things.
Yeah.
And that's just learning things, and in the
And
music, I imagine that's got to be crazy too. It's like, change
yeah,
this real quick, tweak that. Like, yo, I can't keep
bro.
going
Yeah.
back to it 20 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Because that's always the thing too. Like, do you hear that? It's like, oh no, it should be like 10 minutes real quick, right? Like, just it's something short.
Gotcha. Yeah. Listen, what you just said right now is another problem that we have with Latino people.
Mm.
With freaking Latinos. They're so freaking cheap, bro. Cheap. Yeah. Sure. I'm gonna create the music for you. I'm gonna give you a date to listen. Give me a few notes. And I learned this, the notes part. I learned it from my friends in London. Opposed to arranging and that's it.
Yeah.
You got no say. You give the customer a day to give you notes before you go to the next phase. But anyway, so you have that, and then after the music composition, we go into what you call the Pro Tools side. I like to go to Pro Tools after I'm done with Logic or Cubase.
Okay.
I go to Pro Tools, and then once I go to Pro Tools, Ravi, there's no turning back. I'm not going back. I'm not going back to Logic.
Okay.
Because I
Yeah,
give
now
you
we're beyond the arrangement. Now we're mixing.
yeah. So what I explain when it comes to charging, it's like, okay, we're making the music, we're music editing, we're cleaning up vocals, we're chopping stuff up, we're moving stuff around, and the music editing continues on. I think the music editing is like one of the biggest things that people misunderstand before the mixing part, right? So then hanging with Josh all my life, basically. He had hardware back in the he still does, but I'm talking about in the late 90s. He's always had hardware, and so I've seen him work. I've seen what he does. I never asked him questions because I was always a piano player. But as an old, I remember everything he did, and I apply that today in what I'm doing. And of course, I still ask some questions. But the editing part, the sound part, the knobbing, turning this low pass filters to better, high pass filters, reverb, delay. What do I do? What's better for the sing? All of these things are part of creation, so that has nothing to do with music composition. So all these people don't understand that, and then they say, "Yeah, bro, just delete just take this out and put it over here." I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
First of all, that would have worked if I was still in Logic. I'm not in Logic. Everything's audio now. You want me to freaking cut audio, move it. You know what I mean? Now I got to put crossfades and, like, bro. And so people don't understand that. They want to pay $300 for a full production, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not even counting the musicians, the session guys. So it's a problem. It's never going to stop, bro, unless you work with the right people.
So where I've been thinking, and for the video side, and I don't know if this applies to how your strategy and your business and stuff like this, but on the video side, I run into very similar situations. And where I'm at now, as far as strategically for the business, is I got a plan to kind of talk myself out of business to gain new business. And what I mean by that is to avoid the conversations about how, yo, you should do it for cheaper. Yo, I can go on this subscription service and get a song for $10, or I can go lease it for 15.
Oh yeah.
What I'm kind of strategically starting to do is I'm going to start educating people on videos you can do on your phone.
Oh yeah.
Places you can source music for $5, $10, $20, even $200 a year. You can get a subscription to music to teach them there are things you can do within your own budget and your own means right now. And all of that would kind of talk me out of business. But at the same time, what I want to do is position myself as an educator to where when you have the big budget, go to the person that was already teaching you how to do these things on a smaller level. And it also avoids me having these weird conversations. It's like, if you got a guy that could do it for $150, then go with that guy. I'm not the guy for you. You know, that's the thing. Like I'm always conscious of the presentation of the business, the reputation. I don't want to have friction with anybody. But at the same time, I understand when they have budget things. You know, you start hearing buzzwords like, "I want the smallest, simplest project you could do for me." It's something that won't take too long at all. It's like I'm already here. I'm already hearing just give me the cheapest thing that you could possibly give. I have $50. Let's go do a video.
What's in the clearance rack?
Yeah, no, it's like, give me the I've heard stuff like give me the smallest camera you have with the what's the fastest video you can do. I'm like, bro, this is not worth any of our time. It's not. It's not. I'm also, and then the
Yeah,
music
bro.
production side, I mean, you might score one-offs and stuff like that, but on the video production, since I treat what I do as marketing, I stopped even worrying about video production. It's like more we provide a marketing service. And I tell people, you need to have a budget for not just one video, you need to have a budget for several, because 99% of the businesses that I'm dealing with are going to be social media focused, and social media needs to be fed. You can't just do one video and say, well, you
Mm-hmm.
see, I did one video, it didn't get 1 million views, so a video doesn't work. That's not
Right.
how engagement works. You have to flood it. So I tell people, book me for a high level project, and then you need to be on your phone. You need to be doing selfie videos. You need to be doing videos walking through your business and saying,
Right.
here are the
Right.
specials we have, here's the products we offer.
Yeah.
And then bring me out for the major productions that you want to boost and keep kind of stapled pinned on your social media or on your website and stuff like that. But to do your Instagram reel, to do your 30-second video about you got a sale, you don't need me. It's like bringing a nuclear missile to a knife fight. It doesn't make sense. So for you, I kind of hear the same thing. It's like if somebody's coming up like, yo, I got $50, make me a song. It's like, take that $50 and go to I use Artlist for my video production. Artlist is $200 a year, and it actually has the type of music I need for corporate style, upbeat stuff like that. I wouldn't bother Anthony and say, yo, Anthony, I can get a whole bunch of songs for $200. Do me one for 25.
Right.
For what? There's services that offer that. I'm gonna come to you when I need a very specific feel and I want Anthony's sound. That's when I'm gonna come to you. And I need that, and I have the budget.
And you brought up a good thing of what I'm also doing. The contacts that I purchased, or the contacts that I've also been given from like the film that I'm working, the project that I'm working with, the bosses, like the music supervisor that approved the songs that I do, they said, listen, this is not the only thing that you can do. You can also do syncing, music sync. That's what I told you earlier about that, music placements and stuff like that. They gave me a long list, but I also went the extra mile and purchased from the guys that are already doing it. You know what I mean? That's why I go for the iconic guys, and they have these packages. So I would purchase like a package, and I would just go straight to the directory. Just give me that part, man. Artlist. Oh, sorry.
You good?
Hold on. You got me on the passionate part right here, bro. Artlist is one of the names that I pitched my music to. I'm not sure if I got accepted or not. I there's a bunch. So with what you just said, that someone can pay $20 and that's perfectly fine. And that's where I'm trying to get into as well. I already got a publishing deal with one publisher.
Okay.
I got another one just yesterday that they approved. Somebody sent me a lead for a sports broadcasting, and I immediately that same day started composing something for that. And the description was orchestral hybrid hip hop.
Okay.
Loop it. When they said loop, I'm like, I could loop it. Yeah. But of course, I made the loop. Of course, it's not that I grabbed the loop, but I made an ostinato where the violins play the same phrase over.
Yeah.
With the beat, I put some bass frequencies in the bottom, some and I pitched it to them, and they accepted it into their thing. They sent me a contract. I read it through. Obviously, it's always a 50-50 with the ASCAP and everything. That's typical with these libraries. But what you're saying is that they can pay $50 or $20 subscription to get all the songs that they want, or receive it for license and everything. There's royalties that get paid to those composers that make those songs. There's also Pond 5. There's another website called Pond 5 that also does the same thing. There's a lot of them that do that. So if you're doing something and you're going into those websites, those composers are getting a share
Right.
from what you're doing. So
Mm-hmm.
but some people would prefer a score from scratch that's composed to picture. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing another job with a film director from London, where I'm composing to the picture. So he's not getting a song and putting it there. I have to write it from scratch. I have to come up
Right.
with the main theme. So those are two options that people have. You know, and so it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing at all to pay $20 for a song if you're doing it legit. You're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna come up to me and say, "Hey, I got $20. Can you score? Can you make a theme? And I need to approve it." And then I do like 5 different melodies, and you don't approve it for twenty
Right.
dollars, bro. Like, bro, no.
Yeah. Nah, it's they have that in the video world too. The stock footage sites that I want to
Yeah,
get into as well. And now I'm fortunate enough to where we worked and had the budget to get the cameras kind of at Hollywood levels. Like we have red cameras now. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's like
yeah,
these are now cameras that are
dope.
approved and expected for a certain
Yo,
level
but
budgets and
let me
certain
ask you a
level
question,
quality.
Rary. Let me ask you a question. What camera did you start with?
Canon
I don't know
S1. It
about
was
that.
$300 camera.
Right. Let me ask you an important question to you. 'Cause I like the dialogue.
Hmm.
Did you have to make any calculated risk or risk to upgrade yourself?
Yeah, there was you
That's an important thing that we need to tell people.
yeah, no, you have to invest in yourself however much you can invest, right?
Yeah,
And I tell people the very first thing that you have to identify is, do you have a passion for this?
yeah,
If you're talking about going into business, first of all, identify, do you really want to be a business owner? Do some research on what that's like. If you don't have anybody around you that owns a business, figure out what that's like, because some people kind of sleep on the amount of work that it would take as far as hours away from your family and hours away juggling a 9 to 5. um I think sometimes that goes underestimated. So just identify that first. Do you have the time and the drive in you to really be a business owner? Even if you're working for yourself, and no employees, do you have the time and the drive to do this? Understand that you're going to
yeah,
have to work. Most people are going to have to work a 9 to 5, and still after that pursue their dream, their passion of being an independent business owner, have employees, whatever your goals are, right? um but start with what you have. When I started with the music, I got I think a $200 computer from a pawn shop, which that's not even really a big thing these days, pawn shops,
hmm
because we got eBay and stuff. But I got it from a pawn shop. I got a used M box, was it?
Oh yeah. Oh man,
And I had
I love
cracked
my
Pro Tools.
inbox, bro.
Yeah, now I got UA everything now.
Oh shoot,
Yeah, no,
that's awesome, bro.
yeah, I got an Apollo, the rack one, and I have the desk one that has 4 channels. It's like an X4. I forget. I think I got an X8 and an X4. I forget how the numbers work.
Yeah.
I have that. I have Adams audio speakers now.
Oh yeah, Adams are
Um,
great.
yeah, what's funny, but I'm real good at keeping this stuff that like still is useful. Like behind me, I have some KRKs.
Yeah,
I got that based on Josh's recommendation, and those were $300 for the set.
right. I
Um,
carry a case too.
but it was something where like the
But
discipline I
but
had financially with the family was this. I got a 9 to 5, and we are able to make ends meet with this 9 to 5.
right.
So the business money that comes in, don't count on it. Treat it as it doesn't exist. Everything that we make in the business has gone right back into the business. So we had an account for the business. We treated it. We have an LLC. That money stays over there. People pay the LLC. They don't pay Tony. They don't write a check to me. They write a check to the LLC. That money, once it started stacking, I realized, wait a minute, let me just get a better camera now. And now I have a better camera. And that led to better quality, better production quality. I was able to reach out to more people, and the portfolio keeps getting better and better, to the point that we started sitting across the table from local governments. We have city contracts. We had contracts with the Navy doing training videos for them, stuff that we never thought we would ever do.
Right.
We wanted to do music videos, but then it turns out there's a whole market for training where they want to do it, especially now with COVID. It's like, we don't want to bring people in face to face. We want to train them remotely. We want to
Right.
well-produced video, help manage our training program, help manage our marketing content.
Yeah.
But for sure, like you said, you have to invest in yourself. One big red flag I see with people when they start in businesses, they treat it as extra money. Like, yo, now I can go to the movies and take the family out and go on vacation. It's like
Yeah,
those
yeah,
things can come. They absolutely can come, and you need that. That's very important to do those things. You need to treat yourself every now and then. You need to treat the family. You need to take care of things. But if you're gonna live
right,
paycheck to paycheck and then treat the business as another way to continue to live paycheck to paycheck, then it's still a hobby. It's not a business, and there's nothing wrong with a hobby. But I think people sometimes will just not have the self-awareness of where you are in life. Is this truly a hobby or is it a business? Because if it's a business, then you got to separate it.
right. No, yeah, yeah, and that's a high level mindset right there. And I think that when I started it, I had a 9 to 5 back before 2009
Mm-hmm.
because I met my wife in 2005, 2004. Hopefully she's not watching this. Don't get me the dates wrong, man. So I told everybody, hey, I'm not doing no more live gigs. I'm gonna work a job because I want to get married or whatever, you know.
Right.
Um, by 2008, and I started the music ministry project. While I was working 9 to 5. That was the only way I was able to pay a small fee to the musicians to come out, at least their gas,
Mm-hmm.
because churches. And I don't want to go to that subject, bro. You could probably do another video for that.
I
But
get it.
but I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so my regular job, I was promoted to supervisor. My boss had told me, Anthony, you have you have two options here. You can either become the supervisor, or I could get somebody from outside to be the supervisor. And of course, you know what I picked? I'll be the supervisor. Why not? I don't want
Mm-hmm.
nobody coming over here telling me what to do.
Yeah.
You feel me? The corporate office was 30 miles away from the warehouse where we were working. So we pretty much have freedom. I was always networking with Razor, Motorola Razor phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pa, 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 pa. And then the my job my boss, he received more business because we worked in the medical field. Apart from delivering formula milks and everything to nursing homes, now he wants to start delivering equipment like wheelchairs,
Hmm.
medical, the beds and everything. And we would have to build it in the patient's home. And I noticed that there wasn't a raise happening for me. I was getting salary, so I don't have an hourly thing. So if I had to come in earlier, I would come in earlier. If I had to leave late, I would leave late. But I don't. I didn't like that, bro.
Right.
So I told him, listen, can I get a raise? Because you're adding all this business, and run around. And then at the end, just fast forward, my boss comes in one day, says, Anthony, I'm gonna have to let you go.
Mm.
This was after like friction happening.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're not happy here. Go. I'm gonna pay you your 2 week vacation, and I'm not gonna fight unemployment for you. Just go do your music, bro.
Mm.
Just go do it. You're not. It doesn't work for you here. So I was able to, go on vacation with my wife, think, and then in the process, and so in the process of all of that, I was going to a good church at that time, very inspiring church. I wasn't even playing in the church. The word of God every Sunday just hitting me good, man, just hitting me all in the right places. Me and my wife, boom, boom, we were so inspired, and then that led to going into a brother from the Christian ministry side, and he showed me a book of how you can make money with your music, and music education was there, and I'm like, wait a minute, so I can actually teach. I could actually just teach people, because I used to teach random people back then
Mm-hmm.
before, and I'm like, okay, so I started hustling and going into these places physically, putting paper posters on laundromats, pharmacies, grocery stores, everywhere,
Right.
and one by one, it started coming in the students, but I was collecting at that time, so I had some type of funds coming in while I was building the other stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
then Obama was a great president, bro. I was collecting for like over a year, bro. I miss that guy, man. So so I was doing pretty good. I was able to build a business while I had the unemployment coming in. So then after that, I was lucky enough to have it going and going. And to this day, enrollment does go up and down, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just managing it, you
Right.
know. So yeah, you gotta separate the funds and try to like. And I'm not a financial expert either, so I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, you know. But it's a high level mindset when you think like that, with the LLC and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a very good thing for people to put that first.
Yeah. We've been very disciplined, and it's more, I got a similar story. I was let go from a job after I was there for 10 years, and that kind of woke me up to the fact that it's like I don't want this to ever happen to me again.
Right,
I want to kind of be in charge of my own destiny. I want to be able to, you know, in a business it'll fluctuate like you said, but the good thing about working for yourself is the harder you work, the more you get. You'll
right,
see it. It correlates. It's not like the harder you work for somebody else's business, you could be working really, really hard for a full year, 2 years straight and never get a raise. When you own your own business, you see that line go up. And it's not always, a 45-degree, but it'll go up over time. The
right,
harder you work, the more you get. And I like that, the ability to kind of say, all right, I want more next year. What do I have to do? And I get to make that decision. I don't have to go pitch it to a boss. Because I could be the best employee there, pitch all the great ideas. The business goes up, it doubles next year. They don't have to give me a raise.
right,
But
right,
when I own my business, if we sit down and come up with a strategy and that business goes up, we all make more money. And that's
right,
kind of the situation. I'm like, you know what? I want to be in a situation where the harder I work, the more I get. And what's one of the biggest things, and it's almost I used to treat it like it was I almost saw it like a personal negative, but it's not. I think now as a father, it makes perfect sense. I got to the point where I don't see myself asking permission to take care of my kids ever again. I don't want to ask, can I please have tomorrow off because my son's sick?
right,
I don't
right,
that to me, I got to a certain age where I woke up and I was like, wait a minute. As a man and as a father, those are conversations I'm not having ever again.
right.
I'm not gonna deal with that. I used to work fast food, and if you had to take a day off or whatever it was you better get the call sheet and find your replacement.
Yeah,
As a man with kids, if
yeah.
if my son's sick, if my daughter's sick, if my wife is sick, I'm just not going to work. That's it. That's
That's
it.
it. No, yeah,
And as a
yeah,
business owner, I'm not having that conversation. It's
right,
not even an ego cocky thing. I just feel like as a man that's responsible for the family, I got done having those conversations.
right.
I got done with it. I
And
got
that,
done for being forced to go in feeling, like I had
yeah,
the flu or something. I got done with that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, right. And let me tell you that this flexibility is a blessing from God.
Mhm.
I wake up every day and I'm like, wow, I'm giving you all of this information, bro. But at the end of the day, I don't deserve none of these things, bro.
Mm.
When you look at it, and like, who am I? I honestly, I give glory to God for everything, for the mercy, for the grace, man. And what you just said right now, my kids got sick when they started starting from daycare. Thank God I don't have to pay for daycare no more.
Mhm.
But from daycare, getting sick every other week, stomach bugs, all of this, all of that. My wife works a 9 to 5, so I have more flexibility. I would have to go to the schools to pick them up at random hours of the day, and I think about that just with that thought, man, that you can just go get your kids,
Mhm.
and or you can just say, you know what, we're not gonna do aftercare this year. I'm gonna go pick them up at 3:15. When we're not gonna do before care, I'm gonna
Right.
drop them off at 9 o'clock. That's it. And to be able to do that, Revy, it's like it's a blessing, bro. Like it's and to be able to come, like I look and I'm telling you that my students are part of my foundation, my foundation income. I have students since 2008. Though business goes up and down, the reality of it, but it's been able to run on its own. Like to be able to transition from in person to 90% online now. The other 5% I'm going to students' home now again,
Mhm.
because they've requested. So I could easily just say, could we do online? So now I have options to say, hey, can we do online this week? It's fine.
Right.
But to have all of these things and to be able to live off of this, I can never take credit. Like what I've done on my own, it's no, it's not. It's God deserves all the glory, man. to be able to sit down right here, right now, in the middle of the day, where people are at a job where they're cursing people out when they mute the
Mm-hmm.
phone, or they're doing something that they dislike. And let me tell you that at the end of the day, if this doesn't work out, I don't have a plan B.
Mm.
So I don't have a choice but to make it work. If I had to go outside with a portable keyboard and play a song to sell apples, you feel me? Hey,
Yeah.
buy this apple right now, boom, 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 boom. It's good for you. I'll do that. If I have to go to a Subway and put a bucket, I mean, those are just perfect examples of not having a plan B. I have 3 kids. I have 3 kids. So people would say, "Well, you a crazy dude, bro. Like you don't have a plan B and you have kids." Well, I have God, bro. I told Josh, I'm like, listen, when this is an upgrade for me. Like what I have here is not. I didn't have this before 2020, bro. I didn't have this. You could scroll down my Instagram feed, and you'll see that I have something very basic. Like I never, thought about acoustics. Never cared for it. Never cared for. I just cared about a piano and a computer. But now with the transitions, what can I do to better myself? It's also a majority of what I could do to better myself. And luckily, a lot of people still think Sam Ash and Guitar Center is the only place to go,
Mm.
and that you could only pay a lump sum. Now, luckily, you can buy equipment little by little. Now,
Mm-hmm.
you could do easy payments, whatever works for you. A bunch of websites. If you want a gear from Germany, they have a website for that. Reverb.com is the bomb. Um, American Musical, Sweetwater,
Sweetwater.
Vintage
Yep.
Vintage King, which I love Vintage King. Me and Josh went to Tennessee for summer NAM,
Mm.
and Josh was I love Josh, man. He was like he was because I never been to NAM,
Mm.
and he goes, "This is not the best representation of NAM. The big NAM is in California." I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm good, bro. Let's just go. And he convinced me to drive over there to Tennessee, bro.
Mm.
So that's a different journey. That's like 2 different events happening: the traveling and then being over there. So we get to NAM, and it wasn't really impressive. Only if you're a guitar player. And I'm
Okay.
like, wow, bro. The Yamaha section only had one keyboard, and it has speakers on it. Imagine.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. So Vintage King had a showcase, and I told Josh, bro, I'm gonna contact some of the people that I know on Instagram that are probably here, and see what we can do. And I got as a customer of Vintage King, I got a notification, and also on their Instagram feed that they have a new showroom that they're gonna promote it that same weekend. And I said, and I told Josh, gosh, we're gonna go to this event. And so okay, so we go, and let me tell you, bro, that was way better than being at NAM.
Mm.
They had keyboards in the showroom. Networking was tremendous. I also ran into one of a YouTube superstar, Cole Caparoon. I think it's
Okay.
Caparoon. He's a studio engineer from Nashville. He was there checking out equipment, and I met him over there in person, and we got connected, and we were just having a great time over there. And to me, that was the best experience over there.
Right.
So, but yeah, but these stores, they do have flexibility. And whoever doesn't know, if you want something that you need, just do the sacrifice and get it. Jump off the cliff, man.
You said two major things. The as far as the gear,
Yeah,
when you were asking about the sacrificing and investment, one thing that I had the discipline for is, and I think other people need to understand this too, is get the gear you need for the job you have in front of you. Don't get
right,
caught up in like, I need to have the $10,000 camera. Do you have $10,000 clients? Don't go into debt and go crazy getting that stuff to then go back and go do your $300 projects. You need to, as it scales, get what you need. And I had the discipline to do that. Like, okay, I have a budget for this particular project. It's this many thousand. Let me see if I could wiggle and get a better light, or a better microphone or stuff like that. That's how I treated it. So
and
it's
that's
always
good. That's good
scale
to
it
be
with the level of business you have. Don't go chasing. It's real easy to get caught up in the glamour of better gear. Do you
right,
have the clients that need that? Do you really need it for the project you're doing?
right.
Um, And the thing about God is absolutely correct. The other day, I went to a networking event,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody wanted me to participate kind of as an educator, and they were like, "Why don't you give a speech on how to acquire contracts and open doors?" And I was like, I could tell you about the importance of drive. I could tell you about the importance of working and customer service. I can't
Mm-hmm.
tell you how to open doors. In my experience, I can't take credit for any of it. I look back, I was a guy frying chicken. I got
Right.
contracts I am nowhere near qualified to
Dude,
have.
but
I shouldn't.
before you continue, you fried chicken?
Yeah, I was working at Chick-fil-A.
Dude, I used to work in Wendy's when I was 16, and they kicked me out of the kitchen, bro, because everybody that came for 12 o'clock came back to say that their meat wasn't cooked well. I'm
That
sorry, bro. I had to put that in there,
that
but
I came from frying
yeah,
chicken. Before that, I was making ice cream cones at Dairy Queen. Before that, I worked in a laundry.
right.
I'm not a person that comes from means or a background that says I deserve contracts with the Navy, contracts with the local cities, the school boards and stuff like that.
Yeah,
There's nothing in my resume that says give that guy the contract. There's everything in the resume that says he's absolutely not qualified. Go find somebody else.
right.
So when people say how do you get these contracts, I could tell you about the importance of hard work, about the importance of
Mm-hmm.
when you're going to a gig, dress a certain way, conduct yourself a certain way, um, how to manage finances to an extent. But
Right.
opening doors,
No.
my lesson will be follow God and pray
That's
that the
that's
door
the
is
key,
open,
bro.
and
Uh,
and you do your job of being ready when that door is open. You
That's the
have to
key.
be ready.
And let me tell you something, because it's very important for people to know. There's fear involved.
Mm-hmm.
There's being afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also gratitude, a mixture of having gratitude and being grateful for what you had before, and sometimes things don't go your way. What do you do? When do you give up? And I've been doing music all my life. I've been involved and been around a lot of the people that work in the line industry. It's a huge disappointment. It's been a huge disappointment for me. As a mainstream, being so close to these people, that God doesn't want you there. Very,
Mm.
it's like God telling you, you don't belong there, bro. Get out. If God would use the word "get the hell out," He will use the word "get the hell out of there,"
The urgency.
bro. If I don't know if you if you have the same issue. There's I tell this to my friends too. My friends that say you should be playing with Mark Anthony.
Mm.
I But there's a Chinese wall, a long wall. The more I try, the more I try to go around that Chinese wall. I'm never gonna get to that because it's obvious what God wants from me, and I don't know what God wants from me, Barry.
Mm.
I don't know where I belong. It's honest. I'm 39 years old. I'm doing what I'm passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grabbing tight to what's working for me. I'm embracing what's benefiting me and my family. But I wake up every day. I don't know what God wants me to do. I could only do what I can do each and every day. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's like it's a daily progress.
Mm-hmm.
It's a progression from here to there to there. But at the end of the day, you got to manage. I manage fear. I manage all these different emotions. It's emotional, bro, because one day you could be here, the next day you could be there. And that's why I love people. You got to love people. Like people that have done me wrong, I have to evaluate myself every day and say, you know what? God, just give me peace, man. People people that support you. That's another thing that people cry about, that they don't get support. You know what I mean? Like, okay, support yourself, bro. You got to be self motivated.
Yep.
You know, but sometimes as humans, we don't see what we would like to expect from other people. And you know what? We're human, bro. So it's like it's a mix of different emotions, and fear is just one of them. And learning to control it is a big part of striving for your goals. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
I
you have
think that,
to. The self-awareness is important, and
yeah,
that's a lifelong journey. There's people that's 70 years old that still are getting to know themselves, and then that's major. You have to spend time to reflect. You have to spend time to pray and really search out where your flaws are, and
Yeah.
kind of work through that and get good people in your corner. Have a good woman next to you. You know, people
Right.
underestimate that. Like, don't ignore our wives. Every now and then they're gonna have insight, even if they're not directly involved in the business. They're gonna have some feedback that kind of see things from a perspective that you didn't think about. So definitely
Right.
leverage the people around you that care about you. Listen to them every now and then. Because one thing
Yeah.
that, when I started, it was all, what did my friends want to hear? What was exciting my friends? And it's like, friends come and go. Friends are
Right.
seasons. That's what they are. They're seasons. I enjoy the time that I have with friends, but I don't expect that that's going to be a forever thing. And I don't get hurt or angry when things, move away in different directions. But those people that are with you, parents, families, aunts, uncles, cousins, your wife, these are the people that are invested in your life
Hmm.
when they never ask anything of you, and those are the people that we should be listening to more often.
Right.
And definitely, seeking God.
Yeah.
Um,
Always. Always, bro.
it's
Always.
it's it's major. It's incredibly important.
Always.
Um, but now this is great, man. I feel like we kind of hit a lot of important things, and we're gonna have to talk again, man, because you got a lot of you made a lot of progress, and you're doing something that I've always
Yeah.
been passionate about. I never went down the side of learning the music. I always kind of had the curiosity for it, and the small idea of, like, how dope would it be if I could play the guitar or the piano, but I never dedicated my time to it. I started taking
Yeah.
lessons for guitar in church, and then COVID hit. So I know some
Oh,
chords
okay.
on guitar and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe one day I'll get into it, but knowing myself too, it's like I'm real passionate now about the writing, the lyrics and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and the videography side of things. So I don't want to I got too much respect for true musicians like yourself to pretend that I'm just gonna, oh yeah, I'm gonna learn the piano and I'm gonna do this. Like, nah, there's people that
Well,
dedicated their life to this. Like,
well, you never know where you end up, man. And the good thing about music is that it's not made just to be a performance. Uh, the title of composers, the title of being a composer isn't is it comes from one person knowing something, but understanding other instruments, but not actually playing the other instruments. So I don't play violins, but I have libraries here that give me the articulations to perform violins the way it would be played for real, to the best of
mm-hmm,
my ability, of course. And so if you play the guitar, you can learn the fundamentals of guitar, understand the guitar, and if that's something that you like, you never know where you are in 1 year.
yeah,
You never know what you do with that with your beats.
yeah,
If you learn a strum, if you learn to groove, that's you know listen, in my journey, I didn't learn from one, step two, step three. I went from step one to step five to step 20, back to step three. And
mm,
that's basically because of what I needed to learn at that time. When
yeah,
I was younger, there was a Christian salsa band here in New Jersey, um, and they needed a piano player. My salsa playing was good. My reading theory was crazy. It wasn't great. What did I do? I had to ask for a CD, their sheet music, and I locked myself in my bedroom for a whole
mm,
week. For many hours, I listened to the music. I looked at the paper. I memorized what was going on between the paper and the music. And when I did the rehearsal, I did it as if I'm part of the band. The only thing I had to learn was their cues. But I learned it, and from there I just continued on. So it wasn't like I learned music theory in in coincide with piano. It was
mm-hmm,
it was all over the place. But I was so eager to be part of something. I was motivated because that's the only thing I know. So I was willing to do everything. So my parents had me in piano when I was a kid, and I wanted to just leave the first lesson because the guy was so boring. It was like I was so bored. So my parent, if my parents would have kept me disciplined and forced me to stay, I would be a better musician right now. But
mm.
it wasn't like that. So sometimes we just got to deal with what we have, and educate ourselves and learn. And the good thing about it is today's resources. You can get all the resource online
Yep.
on your phone, on your iPad, and just read, watch videos, read books, and. So yeah, if music is what you want to do, you start it. I mean, with the guitar at least.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That would
Yeah,
definitely
no.
help
I
you out.
practiced a couple minutes a day, the
Yeah.
chords that they taught, and the teacher I had, when church was more active in person and stuff like that, he said just practice 10 minutes a day, make it easy for yourself. Just 10 minutes a day to get especially with the guitar, there's that
Yeah.
hand strength portion of it. He's like, that's going to be the thing that stops most people, is that it hurts physically to play the
Yeah.
guitar. And
Yeah,
most people
bro.
just give up and they say, this isn't for me. And then they stop. He's like, if you can get the calluses on your fingers and get the strength in your hand, that's like the hardest part. The rest is memorizing some chords. So I got a few chords. I got to learn the bar chords better. That still hurts, but I have fun with it. I have fun. You know what's funny? I have fun playing for the baby. I got a 1-year-old baby, and she dances and stuff like that. And it's cool to have that moment. You know.
Bro, and that's great. I use my kids to practice, bro.
Yeah.
They know Disney songs. So what I do is
Yeah.
I pull out the sheet music here just to practice the performance part, because
Mm-hmm.
there's no live gigs happening. I could count with my hands, me playing outside.
Mm.
So 'cause I'm working here majority of the time. So when you're working in the studio, you're punching, punching out, punching in. So you're not really playing a full blown song.
Yeah.
So I have to make time to practice my reading, practice performance. So I put the kids here, sing this song from the Tangled, Disney Tangled, or Disney Frozen 2. Let's go. And I'll play with it and they'll sing and I'll just practice my performance that way.
Yeah.
You
That's
know, so
great.
it's always good to use your kids, man.
Yeah. Nah, it's awesome. That's
And if they walk away, that means you suck. Like, nah, I'm good. Like,
that's
Daddy,
not it.
and they'd be like,
They
Daddy,
don't
you're
know
hitting
what you're
wrong
playing.
notes.
You tell them to sing, and it's like, I don't know what that song is.
Or they'd be like, Daddy, that doesn't sound like the song. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Nah,
yeah,
man,
man.
but this is great, man. I appreciate you taking the time for real, man. This has
Yeah.
been a awesome conversation. I took a lot of stuff that I'm a
Yeah.
really apply and keep in my mind moving forward. And
Yeah.
I think other people will grab some stuff from it too.
The ultimate thing is, you know, you're not hearing from experts. I'm not an expert. Well, I'm not an expert. So I'm just sharing my journey, and my journey is not even done yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a person to say, yeah, God has called me for this. This is what I'm doing. That's awesome if you can do that. If you can say that. I
Right.
honestly, from the bottom of my heart, can't tell you this is what God has called me to do. But when God gives you a love for something, whether you believe in Jesus or not, there's something in your heart that beats for it, like every day when you wake up. I don't have the pleasure of waking up every day to say, I'm going to make music today. What happens in me when I wake up every morning, I have to train my brain for that morning to say, thank you, God, for this day. I pray with my kids every morning, but the worries come, the life stuff hits you when you wake up in the morning. The bills, the responsibilities as a man, as a husband, as a father, as all of these different things hit you. When you're single and you live with your parents, life is different, bro. You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
super different. You could wake up at 10 o'clock in the morning, but for people like me or you with kids, you're not only thinking about, yo, I'm gonna make the best video today, yo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the thing, getting my kids ready, doing what bills need to be paid this week. But as much as you try to be organized and you try to plan stuff, those things just collapse sometimes. They're like, oh my God, okay, now I gotta projects that don't come. They just
Yeah.
fall apart.
Yeah.
Now people canceling, all of these. I had to be my own manager, my own creative, my own artist, my own
Mm-hmm.
composer, my own person to pitch to these music libraries, my own person to represent myself when I'm networking with film directors, when I'm networking with other musicians, when I'm networking with any person that I want to work with. So it's like, you know, whoever has a passion for something, they really had to stick to it, and make it work, because nobody's gonna want it to work as bad as you do. You know, it's like you want. How bad do you need to breathe? You know what I mean? Like, okay, want that passion for yourself that bad, like if you need to breathe. Well, if you don't breathe, you die. You know what I mean? So want it want it bad and make it work. Even if you have to post flyers. Hey, my name is this. Call me. Start locally. I started locally. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of people, I don't want to finish this interview with people thinking that it's all glitz and glamour, because it's not. Social
Mm-hmm.
media is majority is a lie. I try to be as honest as I can on social media. I try to post what I'm doing. Whatever I'm posting is because I'm really working.
Yeah.
And if I'm gonna go away for a vacation, I take enough pictures just to keep the momentum of social media going. There's a difference between keeping your social media active, posting content, like you said, and a
Hmm.
difference between trying to get a million likes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So trying to get a million likes is not the same as having to post content 3 to 4 times a day. Post it, hashtag it, and continue to do that. And that's part of my work, the creative side.
Right.
And like you said, if you're not willing to move in the social media realm, posting stories, posting this, then you're not going to be successful at all. So these are all things that come to mind when you wake up in the morning. So I just want to
Hmm.
encourage people to just do it. Think of there's a saying, remind yourself on why you even started. But sometimes when you have so many responsibilities, you have to remind yourself a little bit more and speak to yourself louder. But most importantly, Ravi, I want to leave it with prayer. Develop a moment to pray every day. Develop a moment to meditate. Develop a moment to be grateful, to have gratitude, and ask God and depend on God, because what you plan for, there's most likely it's not going to work out. As a faith man, to me this is an upgrade. This is a blessing, but it wasn't easy to get it. It was all faith. I would tell my friends, I'm gonna step out of faith, but I'm gonna step in faith. I mean, I'm gonna step in faith. I'm gonna invest in a modular system because I want to do sound design. I want to be able to do things I never did before. And that comes with, if you ever want to do something you never had before, what comes next?
Yeah, you got to invest
Yes.
fear comes. I tell parents, if you want your kids to do better in life, they're gonna do things that horrify you, that make you scared,
Yeah.
because
It's
for them to
just
do
it's scary.
better, they have to do things you would have never done to
Yeah.
to get a different outcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna scare yourself. You're gonna jump off, and I don't know if I could do this. There's strategy to it, and wisdom. Pray for wisdom. Pray for the right timing.
Yeah.
You don't
Right.
need it all at one shot. You don't need, you didn't need every single plugin. You didn't need the speakers and the mic the same week. Maybe next month. Maybe the next
Yeah.
gig.
Right.
Um,
Hey, being a studio engineer isn't easy either. Like
it's
being
expensive.
it's
It's
it's not
expensive.
it's not easy, bro. But it's like, my wife, before we had kids. When is the right time to have kids, Rary?
Never. It's not the
It's
right
never
time.
it's never the right time to have
It's never
kids,
the
bro.
right time.
So
That's
it's
you're
like,
never gonna be prepared. I had a friend that said, "I'm gonna have this in savings before I have a kid." I'm like, it's good to have some kind of financial plan. If you know you can't even feed you and your wife, then that makes sense
yeah,
not to have a kid yet. But you're never gonna have enough money. You're never gonna have the perfect timing for it.
it's not perfect.
It's almost like in business. There's never gonna be the perfect time for me to jump into business.
Right.
Just jump, work. I tell
Yeah.
people, I heard it from somebody else, but I repeat it. I say, your circumstances aren't the reason you can't succeed. Your circumstances are the reality in which you have to succeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Like
Yeah.
that's
Just
it. Somebody's always gonna have it worse. Somebody's always gonna have it easier. Just deal with what you have and work through that.
Yeah,
That's
and
it.
we're blessed because one thing that I can say that we do have is that we have friends that are experts in
Hmm.
in the fields that we are in need of.
Hmm.
I have engineer friends. I have my main guy, Josh. But I, as an individual, I expanding is very important to me. So I network with other engineers. I network with other musicians. If I usually use this guy to do percussion, I'm gonna want to use this other guy for percussion one day, because I want to go into that side as well. So it's like a big thing, and having that blessing of having experts to make your music better is something that a lot of other people don't have, and they have to pay big bucks for that. So that's one
Hmm.
of one of the things that we could, one good news to put here.
Yeah.
But overall, man, it's just do it. Like Nike says, just
Hmm.
do it, man. Just go for it, and don't and control fear, control your nerves, control. Just do it. If you don't have kids, move to LA, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't come to New York. Move to LA, bro.
Yeah. Well, shoot, man, it's a good spot here, man. I appreciate the time again, Anthony. Man, we
Yeah,
gotta do
yeah,
this again. You inspire me for real, man. Even from far away when I'm watching you on
yeah.
Instagram and Facebook, man. I love watching you do your thing, and I wish you nothing but the best, dude. I appreciate
And
you.
man, bro, and what you're doing here is awesome, bro. I know that this is an interview towards me, but I'm glad that I was able to to ask you some questions because some people, I don't want people to look at one side in a good dialogue. I want people to
Hmm.
also know, hey, you're doing video, so
Yeah.
we should talk about that because video and music is important. So video is more important than the music, to be honest, because the dialogue is more important than the music. So video has to worry about making sure that the you have those little the filters around it. I saw this thing where music editors can get music. What is it? Whoever films, whoever's in charge of the audio part, their position is as important
Hmm.
because they have to filter out the noise.
Yeah.
There's a way to move a bag, or there's a
Hmm.
material that you use for a bag. There's a material to use for this. Then the music comes in and complements the situation, but that's after. So I
Yeah.
think that the video stuff is I respect it so much, man, because I've received video that is difficult for me to put music to. I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, bro,
Mm.
like it's hard, But yeah, I've the scoring events that I've joined, they say that in the guidelines, dialogue is extremely important. If your music is over the words, don't even bother.
Yeah.
But it's cool, bro. And this is a motivation, actually, whether this is on record or not, to combine the video and with my stuff, put a package together where we can actually expand our territories and offer something as a whole to
Hmm.
future clients. So you can also, in the future, putting your packages at like scoring custom music. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Apart from getting music that's already made, you could also do that, and then we could all be successful, man. And
Yeah.
the same thing with me. If I now starting now, I could tell people, hey, if you need a music video, if you need something with video and a logo and a video, let me know. We'll put this package together. So things like that, man. I
Hmm.
think that it expands the territory for us.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely, man.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, man.
Hmm.
Well, all right, man. It's time to get back to back to the family. See, I got blessed enough to have my wife to stay home with the baby. She was
Oh,
able to leave and dedicate herself to the baby and then help with the kids off to school. So I got two in school, one baby, and I think today I'm gonna spend some time
a
and,
new a
and and
new
do that
baby.
thing. Yeah, she's a year old.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah, I got
congrats,
I got a
bro.
year old, a 6 year old, and a 15 year old.
Are they all girls? Wait, what? 15?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the first baby.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
15 already?
yeah, yeah,
Dag, bro.
yeah.
Wow, 15.
Yeah, 15. I got one son. The middle one is a boy, 6 years old.
Okay, let's go back to the 15, bro, real quick. Like
Yeah,
how
daughter.
you deal with that? What stage is
It's
she in?
good.
Like attitude? What?
Now, what's funny? Both the girls have been kind of real independent. They want to do things their way. The boy is more even temperament. He kind of like he's been more reactive. If I say stop that, he'll stop it. Both the
Okay.
girls, the 1 year old and the 15 year old, they always been. Nah, I want to tell you my opinion. I want to tell you why I don't want to do that. Um,
All right, but you take
but
her to school, or
yeah,
what
no,
does
I
she?
take them.
How does she feel when you walk her to the building? Like, how do
Oh
you
no,
do that?
now that she's in high school, the
Okay.
school is like down the street, and she chose to go on her own. She's like, I want to go. The first few times we took her, and every now and then we take her, but she's like down the block, so she's like, I just want to walk. I was like, all right, walk. That's what you want to do. It's
Oh
funny.
wow.
These kids they grew up in a different era because since I was like 6 years old, I was outside by myself.
Yeah,
I'd go
yeah.
outside, go play. This era, the kids don't really have that interest for it. So when she said finally that she was like, I want to walk to school, this is a kid that never she doesn't know what it is to go outside and play. From 1 to 14 years old, she never asked to go outside on her own. It was never I want to go play. It was I'm
Wow.
inside. So when she's
Yeah.
15 in high school, she's like, "Yeah, I'll walk." I was like, "Yeah, do that because you need to have experience where you go outside."
And
And
you're standing outside just watching her walk, or?
nah, nah, nah. They what's funny? School over here in the high school starts early. She go out
Oh,
when it's
really?
dark. Yeah, no, unless it's like raining or it's really
Yeah, yeah,
cold
yeah,
or if she asks. Because in the beginning we were taking her like every day, and then
yeah.
eventually she's like, "I'm good walking," because then I guess she met friends and stuff and they walk together.
Okay, okay.
But it's not far at all.
Wow, bro.
It's not like
Congratulations, bro. Wow.
yeah,
Did you do a
yeah,
sweet
no,
15, or are you gonna do a sweet 16? Or does she
probably a
doesn't want it?
16. Yeah, no, she's simple that way. She don't really
Oh
ask or
yeah.
expect anything like that.
Wow, bro.
Um,
Can't believe it.
but now we'll probably do something for
15.
16.
Wow.
Yeah.
God has
Now
brought us this far, man.
she's
God
gonna
has
be
brought us this
driving
far.
soon.
Hey
Yeah,
man,
no, I she'll be driving soon. Yeah, she's taking the classes now.
I can't believe it,
Yeah.
bro.
No, I say that all the
Wow.
time. I don't deserve the position I'm in at all. That's always in the front of my mind. I don't deserve it one bit.
Yeah.
I gotta post videos, man. We have an office now. Right now, I'm in my garage at home, but we have an
Okay.
actual like a commercial space. We have an office with a little lobby, and I got an editing room and a conference room, and it's great. I look at that, walk in every day, sentimental. Like this is crazy.
No, no, yeah,
It's
you got,
crazy
yeah,
that.
yeah. It's a moment of gratitude, man, every day, and
Yeah.
it's difficult to do these interviews sometimes because I'm not an expert. I'm just a man trying to succeed in life, and my wife is a witness.
Hmm.
The day that my wife jumps and gives me a hug tighter than ever and says congratulations, that's a sign that I made it
Yeah.
because my wife has seen me from the beginning and she respects what I do. As a wife, as long as I'm paying the bills, as long as I'm doing my part as a husband and wife, she
Hmm.
doesn't she doesn't talk. She doesn't tell me anything.
Right.
But I know for a fact that the day that she hugs me tight, that I give her the big news of something that just something that's mainstream, like something that out of this world, something that's not ever been part of me. I know that I made it, and then
Yeah.
then we could have a different type of interview. But we're I'm a man that's trying to make it, and I'm a man that's expanding myself and not giving the opportunity of limitation. So I will never put myself in a limitation. If I have to call a friend to help me with something that I can't do on my own, I will make that call. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm never gonna live that life of what if, especially for my kids. When I told Josh um, that I just dislike Latin music,
Mm.
he says, "Don't quit because your daughter's watching you. Your kids are watching you." And
Yeah.
I quitting to putting aside not working as much with the Latin music. I love Latin music, you know, to the point where I just released the plagues from the Prince of Egypt movie. I worked with one of the engineers that originally worked in the Prince of Egypt movie to mix this song. So I wanted to have a different perspective. I wanted to have something that no salsa mix engineer has. I just wanted to network. I just wanted to bring a color, just to embrace change. Nothing. I'm not trying to sound like Mark Anthony or trying to sound. It's an orchestral thing. It's a soundtrack in salsa,
Hmm.
and I put the Latin elements in there. The publishing deal that I got, I pitched the guy regular orchestral stuff. The guy made research on me, and he wrote back, "You know what, Anthony? It sounds good, but we don't. I have enough of that stuff. I see that you like to do Latin music. Can you do a full orchestral Latin library for me? I can get away from Latin." So
Yeah.
I had to embrace the momentum. Okay, now I have an opportunity to do this Latin stuff, um, for this publishing company, and I'm gonna do it. So it's easier for me to do it anyway, because Latin music is easy for me to do. So it's the kids see that. I'm showing the kids more, involving them more. They love it. They speak to Alexa. They say, "Alexa, play Anthony Rodriguez, The Plagues."
Mm.
Alexa, play Anthony Rodriguez, Deliver Us. And they're fans of my music. Especially with Encanto and Vivo, Coco, also the
Hmm.
Mexican
Hmm.
movie.
Hmm.
They listen to those soundtracks every now and then, especially Encanto. Right now, it's a hit.
Right.
But it's good. I love that came out, man, because that's really motivating. That's really inspiring. That's like Latin music is not dead.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's as alive as it is right now. It's Latin music in general, not salsa, but just in general. And I'm
Hmm.
and I'm super happy that it's relevant. You know what I mean? For people like myself that does Latin music, it's awesome, and the kids see that, and I think that's a big thing for me too. So they're
Right.
they're they're part of my motivation. But I pray that everybody that sees this, man, um, do it, and put God first, and go through the small struggles, enjoy and embrace the first dollar that you make doing this. Financially speaking, you can only get advice from financial experts that, but at the end of the day, you're on your own. You know what I mean? How you reinvest in yourself and how you spend it, that comes with experience. You know what I mean? I have
Mm-hmm.
good and bad experiences financially, but God has always provided for me. That's another extension of it all. So having faith in God, God supplying you, you not depending on the dollars that you have in your bank account, and you're looking at that number and you're telling yourself, man, I'm never going to be able to progress in life. But having faith, just like in church, when people say, pay your tithes and offering and have faith. And sometimes I look at that when, you know what? Let's say I have $100. I'm going to take $60. I'm just going to get this because this is going to help me to do this. And with faith, and you do it and you do it, it's a decision you make. God blesses you with more. You know what I mean? And at the right time, according to His time, of course. But yes,
Right.
I pray that everybody be successful. That everybody that wants to go into their own type of entertainment or whatever other business, I pray that God just creates a tsunami of blessings over everybody's lives, over families, and that our present and our future be prosperous, man. That's
That's
all we
right.
can do. Believe in God.
Yeah, that's right, man.